On the Microsoft side of things, whereas traditionally the questions I've had put to me have been based around desktop products or products that are physically installed on the machine, the sort of questions I'm getting now is on the on software which is installed on either bring your own devices such as laptops, but then also the more cloud-based devices such as your iPads, your iPhones, or other smart devices like that. And people just haven't got the appreciation of the implications of software that's bought by, say, an entity in the UK, used by then an entity in the US, and then supported by another entity, say, in Asia. And understanding how all that sort of comes together, I think that's where we're going to get some interesting conversations.
I think some of the topics that seemed to be resonating was certainly all the buzz was around the move to the cloud, the impact around Office 365, how that would be managed. Also, surprisingly, actually, some of the security concerns and where data was, because many of the organizations here are global operations and they think about these things, and banks and so forth as well. And data center was also a topic that emerged as well, discussions around SQL and how that would be managed. And I guess finally just the increase in the audits and how the different companies were handling that.
Well, talking to a lot of people downstairs, it was interesting to see how people were thinking about transformation into a hybrid environment, about more than just software in terms of the budgets, tracking, project allocation of training budgets, things like that, and the way of actually being able to model that transformation without just being the cost of the software itself.
In terms of Microsoft, I think what we're really looking at now is the move from perpetual to subscription, understanding that. Also, the proposition around software assurance for each product as to whether you need it, whether you don't need it. Interested to see what's happening with Windows 10 with new versions. But also, so there's a clear value proposition for stuff like SQL Server, less so for Windows, less so for Office. We don't currently have software assurance on our Office products, so that's another reason for making the discussion around Office 365 different.
And is your role to help the business make that decision?
It will be, yeah. It's really going out and saying, okay, what do we own? What's assigned where? What can we use? We have a large PC refresh going on, about 1,000 machines. It's about a quarter of the estate, just getting rid of XP, and understanding what licenses we can redeploy. But also, really, actually optimising those licenses, making sure that we're actually doing some role-based PC builds to try and make sure that only the guys who need Pro Plus get it.
I think the more people you can speak to, considering how many clients actually come to this, and you know, this has had a great turnout with the amount of people, end users, and they're the people I'm interested in talking to because they're the ones with the issues and the problems. It's great talking to a consultant, and being a consultant for so long, I know that issue, but they've always got a commercial interest a lot of the time. Whereas talking to an end user, you can really get into the depths of the details that you may not share with someone else. So being able to speak to more of them is a whole reason for me coming to these events.
So I think from conversations I had with people throughout the day and questions I saw in the sessions, I think there's a lot of confusion about exactly how people can move to cloud and what's in cloud and what isn't, and what that means for people considering what position they're in now and where they're going, and of course how that ties in with security, and then from a SAM perspective how it's all tracked and managed and analysed. There's a lot of different pillars that these attendees were looking at. I was surprised at the level of security related questions, because I thought a lot of those concerns had been allayed by Microsoft and cloud maturity. So it was really interesting to see that that's still a big concern. I think it's certainly something that we and you and Microsoft and everyone needs to help address.